I'm Ashley Pickle. That's Greg Powers, and this is This Week
in Cruton.
It is This Week in Recruiting, where we are joined by Next Level athletes Greg Powers to take a look at some of the top prospects in the state. And of course, this excellent segment is brought to you by our excellent chicken friends at Chicken Express.
It's fresh and you can taste the difference.
They need to hire you for marketing at this point. Like someone at Chicken Express, don't steal our guy, but maybe throw him some side money, you know?
There'd be no better ambassador for the product, I can tell you that.
You're not wrong. All right, Powers, we'll go ahead and get into it here. Taking a look first off at our prospect on the rise. It's a DCTF 3-star who is verbally committed to Baylor in DeSoto's defensive back, Devin Bobby, having a huge senior year. I know I got to see him play against Duncanville, and while that didn't come up on the same side for DeSoto, the kid he's everything you want back there in the backfield.
Well, DeSoto has a knack for producing these guys that may not be the top-rated guy in the program, but then when they go on to college, they're inherently really good, and that's just because the program has so much talent. And now I can see that your notes match up with mine and also Guy Frazier's. We've all had the chance to see him in person this year. In every game that we've watched him in, he's really performed well. The game I saw him in was against Arlington Bowie, and he had 2 interceptions in that game and was really active, always around the football, and is just one of those guys that just has a knack to make plays on the defensive side of the ball. As a matter of fact, I think I used the descriptive word ball hawk in the article this week. So that was how I kind of described his game, and that's what he is. I don't necessarily know exactly what position is going to fit him best at the next level, whether it's safety or corner, but I do think he has the skill set to play multiple positions in the defensive backfield, and he's going to make plays no matter where you line him up. So just a really good football player, and he actually got an opportunity to move into the top 100 because Bear Alexander transferred to IMG Academy. That not only opened up a slot in the top 100, it also opened up a slot in the top 10. Devin Bobby slides into the top 100, and Cam Dewberry slid into the top 10. We just couldn't feature Cam this week because we just featured him last week or the week before, so it was going to be too much Cam Dewberry, but opportunity there for 2 guys to move up in the rankings this week.
Yeah, really good. I think ball hawk's the perfect way to describe him too. Always has his eyes up, really scanning the backfield there. So I know I was impressed when I saw him. But moving on here to our commit of the week, heading down south a little bit, Colleen Shoemaker, 2022 wide receiver and cornerback, Omari Evans. He is committed to Penn State, but man, he had a plethora of offers. And another guy, I believe, checking into that DCTF top 100.
Yeah, no doubt. And he is a guy that really I've struggled a little bit with what position I think fits him best, and that is cornerback or wide receiver. At first, I thought, because he's 6 foot 170 and he has such great hip flexibility and agility, that cornerback may be the best fit for him. But as things have progressed throughout his development in high school, he's super dangerous with the football in his hands. And as a matter of fact, if you wanted to check the recruiting annals at texasfootball.com/recruiting. We have a really good article up on him from Adam Ogburn back on July 27th, where he said that he really prefers to play on the offensive side of the football. And now that he's made his commitment to Penn State, I think he could be one of those guys because of his speed, his open field, make you miss ability, could be that guy in the Big Ten that is very special. And certainly Texas guys on the offensive side of the ball who have went on to play at Penn State, they've been able to be instant impact type of guys. We see that with the young man, his first name escapes me at the moment, but the Washington kid who's up there, been playing for 2 years, has been a guy in the slot that's made a lot of difference for the Nittany Lions. And they're one of the top-rated programs in the entire country right now. Have a big game on tap this week against Iowa. So perfect timing for Omari Evans to make his commitment there. And I think Penn State's kind of getting a steal. He might be a little bit underrated at number 97 in the state in the DCTF Hot 100.
And before we move on to our Underclassmen of the week, when you see recruits like this that are the two-way type of players, do you see that they typically, that's kind of their number one thing that they're looking for on recruiting is, if I want to play on one side of the ball, I'm going to go here, rather than taking a look at maybe the school as a whole?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I think that you really want to to think what position fits me best and who's extended me an offer to play that position, that's something that you're certainly going to look into. But I think that Omari Evans is going to be one of those types of guys, and just reading his comments and what he thinks about the games from the articles that he's done in the past, he's not going to be limited down to just say, oh, I only have to play wide receiver. I think he's going to play the position that probably advances his goals to get to the NFL, and whether that be wide receiver or cornerback, certainly he has his eyes on wanting to keep that football in his hands. But don't be surprised if cornerback or defensive back clears a path for him to play in the league. He's probably going to do it, after he gets in the college strength and conditioning program and gets it there with his coaches at Penn State. Maybe he does flip over and play on the defensive side of the ball someday. It's kind of jury out on that type of stuff because these guys are so talented. And don't forget, Omari Evans is also a 3-sport athlete in high school. And I mentioned that he may be underrated at 97 in the DCTF Hot 100, and that's one of the reasons why, because he's really good, at track and field and playing some other sports as well. So he has a high upside.
Absolutely. We're talking with Greg Powers, our recruiting analyst from Next Level Athletes. You can get involved with the conversation, #TF Today. Powers, let's matriculate over to our Underclassmen of the Week. We're going to go to John Tyler, and this is a program that's full of a lot of young stars, but one particularly sticks out, and that's 2024 athlete Derek McFall. And how about that for Mr. McFall picking up his first offer from the University of Texas this week? And when you hear Derek McFall, I think the first thing that kind of comes to your mind is electric. Yeah,
no doubt about it. His tape really pops. And when he picked up that offer from Texas, first, before we even get into McFall, first and foremost, Coach Rickland Holmes has been telling us about this guy, and we were kind of waiting for him to emerge on the recruiting radar. And at the beginning of the year, this is just not a tape that I had watched yet. I'd heard about his name and saw that he was one of those guys that the coaching staff there was high on. And then when he picked up that offer from Texas this week, I wasted little time popping on that tape to see what he was bringing, and it was like one of those jaw-dropping type of moments. This is a kid who they use in multiple positions, line up in the slot, move him around to do different things, and he is a blazer. He has one of those highlight reels that you're just like, wow, anytime he touches the football, he could take it to the house. He has great short area explosion. He can make you miss in a very tight space, and then he has the top end speed to cash it in and turn those small plays into big plays. And that's what makes him special. And when your first offer is from the University of Texas, guess what? More offers are coming, Derek McFall. You're going to be one of those guys that everybody knows about.
That's kind of one of those sound the alarm type of offers right there when you get that as number one. And finally, to wrap it all out, let's talk about our recruit of the week. This one a little bit interesting. Excited to get your take on this, but Frisco Memorial 2022 wide receiver Zion Steptoe. Now, he was committed to Utah and has now decommitted. He's one of the top-rated receivers in the DFW, and he's got tons of other offers, including Purdue, Hawaii, Kansas, Kentucky, Pittsburgh, all names you heard before. First off, what do you think maybe kind of went into the decision that Utah wasn't for him, and where do you think he might end up now?
Well, the jury's going to be out on where he ends up. He still has multiple visits to take. He took an official visit to Purdue, and he took an official visit to Utah. So he still has 3 available official visits, and it'll be interesting to see who turns the heat up in his recruitment. And really, this recruit of the week over the last couple of weeks has been like decommitment central, because there have been a lot of guys who have made early commitments. Now that the season is kind of unwinding itself, they're getting back onto the open market and looking into some different schools. And it could be a number of reasons which leads to that. Zion is one of these kids that I really like, because he not only brings a good game on the field, and he's worked extremely hard to turn himself into a top tier prospect. He wasn't, he's always been pretty good at Frisco Memorial, but I think he really put in a lot of hard work in the off season. And Coach Rob over there at Frisco Memorial has always been, kind of making sure that we look out for him. And I've seen his progression from the early stages until what he is now, who is like a team leader, one of the top wide receivers in the DFW. But what I really like about him is he's got these Ivy League offers. So that he's not only bringing it on the field, he's bringing it academically in the classroom. So when you talk decommitment, you certainly don't have to worry about what he's doing in the classroom or anything like that. There's no underlining issues, I think, with Zion Steptoe that you have to be worried about. If you're a college program, listen to this, and you're looking for a good wide receiver that can line up and do multiple things within your offense, whether it's playing in the slot or sliding outside to make deep plays vertical, then I think Zion Steptoe is a guy that you should look at. And if you ask me, like for Zion Steptoe, I would just pick Purdue because he's already visited there. But Pittsburgh and Kentucky were two schools I know at the P5 level that was really high on him early on, and he has a lot of offers. And I think he's one of these guys that will continue to get action. As a matter of fact, your North Texas Mean Green ought to be giving Coach Rob a call to get him an offer soon.
Well, a guy who is always our number one pick, Greg Powers, Next Level Athlete. You can follow him at GPowersScout on Twitter and Next Level Athlete at Next Level D1. Powers, appreciate you taking the time, and do it again next week. Also, I like your bats in the background back there. Spooky season. Had to shout that out.
Well, I will say that they are butterflies this year. So we've graduated. It's always been bats in the past for Halloween, but we're doing the butterfly motif this year. So we're giving it a change.
Okay. Different kind of spooky season. I like it. Powers, appreciate it, man.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks for watching this clip here on YouTube. If you like this kind of stuff and you want more of it, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember, you can watch us live every weekday at noon at TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, or here on YouTube. And if you want more of the best coverage of football in the state of Texas, check out TexasFootball.com and become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider at TexasFootball.com/subscribe.